Okay, so this is pretty wild. It's not every day you see the White House take aim at a single private company. But on April 9th, 2025, that's exactly what happened, with an executive order targeting a specific law firm. We're going to unpack what went down and why this is such a big deal.
And listen to the language here. It is not subtle. The order accuses the law firm Susman Godfrey of weaponizing the legal system and degrading the quality of American elections. I mean, wow! That is not your typical bureaucratic language. That's a direct, heavy accusation coming from the highest office in the land.
So right away, this begs the huge question, right? Why this law firm? Out of all the firms in the country, what could these guys have possibly done to get this kind of direct, personal attention from the president?
Well, to figure out the why, we first have to understand the who. So let's take a closer look at the firm in the crosshairs, Susman Godfrey.
Okay, so first things first, this is not your corner store law firm. Susman Godfrey is what's known as a litigation boutique, and that's basically code for a super specialized, high-octane team of trial lawyers. These guys are legendary for taking on absolutely massive, high-stakes cases. And get this, they often work on a contingent fee basis, which means they only get paid if they win. So think of them as smart, aggressive, and really, really good at what they do.
And if you need a sense of just how big a deal they are, look at this number, $787.5 million. That's the mind-blowing settlement they got for Dominion voting systems in their case against Fox News. A number like that doesn't just win a lawsuit, it sends shockwaves through entire industries. That's the kind of power we're talking about.
So who are they, really? Well, the firm was started back in 1980 by the legendary Stephen Susman. They built their reputation handling these huge, complex commercial cases, winning absolutely massive verdicts. And they are consistently, year after year, ranked as one of the top trial firms in the entire country. The bottom line here is, this isn't some small-time operation. They are an elite, highly visible, major player in the legal world.
All right, so we've got this powerhouse law firm on one side and this really aggressive White House executive order on the other. It's time to connect the dots. And the link starts to get crystal clear when you look at one particular case.
Okay, look at this. The executive order's claim is that the firm is degrading American elections. And what's their most famous, most politically charged case in recent memory? Representing Dominion voting systems in those defamation lawsuits over the 2020 election. It really seems like the administration is drawing a straight line from the firm's legal work in that case directly to the accusations in this order.
So, we've got the who and the why. But what does this order actually do? What are the teeth behind it? Let's break down the specific actions it takes against the firm.
First, let's be clear on what this is. Executive Order 14263 is a formal, signed presidential directive. This isn't just a press release or a suggestion. It's a command, an instruction to all federal agencies to take specific, concrete actions against Susman Godfrey.
And the order lays out 4 major actions. First, it pulls all active security clearances for anyone at the firm. Boom, gone. Second, it terminates any and all federal contracts they might have. Third, it cuts them off from government services and property. And finally, and this is a big one, it forces any other company that works with the government to disclose if they're also doing business with Susman Godfrey.
But wait, there's more. It goes even further, really targeting the people at the firm. Employees are going to have their access to federal buildings limited, government workers are told to limit how they engage with them, and federal agencies are pretty much banned from hiring anyone from the firm. I mean, the goal here seems to be to completely wall them off from the entire federal government.
You know, in order this specific, this aggressive against a single private company, it just naturally raises some huge questions. To really get what's at stake here, we have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This wasn't a bolt from the blue. It turns out this was part of a pattern. On March 6th, a very similar order came out targeting a different law firm, Perkins Coie. Now, what did Susman Godfrey do? They joined a legal challenge against that first order. And then, just a few days later, boom. April 9th, this new order drops, aimed squarely at them.
This sequence of events, it changes the entire conversation. Suddenly, it's not just about one firm or one case anymore. It becomes this fundamental question about the limits of presidential power. You're talking about potential constitutional challenges, things like due process, freedom of speech. The core question becomes, can the president use the full force of their office to target a private company for the legal work it does?
And that leaves us all with this really critical, kind of uncomfortable question. Where is the line?
When does an executive policy, something that's supposed to be in the national interest, cross over and become, well, political punishment? It's a debate that really gets to the very heart of how our legal and political systems are supposed to work.